It's the Samsung Galaxy A15 after 2 months now of use. And I have to say, I am relatively impressed with this device. And budget devices across the board have really gone through a renaissance in that the companies figured out how to make the compromises. And of course, the power got cheap enough to where they can make these devices where you don't need, you only need so much to run Instagram and Twitter and your daily social media stuff. You only need so much power to run that well, and it's gotten cheap enough now as technology has advanced to put them in these $200 devices. But Motorola's gotten great. Their G Play for 2024, $150. That's a great device. I think you get a little bit more with the Samsung Galaxy A15, making this one worth the extra $50. You pick up that OLED display. You get a bit more power and better gaming performance. You also get 5G over here, which I think is a nice little bump for the $50. So I would definitely consider the A15 after now, I think, like I said, 2 months of usage. So let's talk about some of the things that they did and the compromises that they made and why I think this is a really nice device for your money. Don't forget, $200 is the sticker price, but you're going to be getting this is going to be on the carrier deals for $0 if you sign up for 2 years. This is going to be on your Metro PCS deal. This is going to be on all those things. So this is the type of phone that you're going to see for a lot less. And if you have an old J series device, Galaxy J series, now it's all cracked up and messed up, you got an A11 from back in the day that's kind of slow, I think you're going to notice a significant upgrade with the A15. So let's talk about that display, as it is a highlight of the device. See, snap right in there. Sometimes it's a little slower. It's a budget device, but right then, if you push the button, fingerprint sensor, you pop right in. Gorgeous OLED panel. Not the most color accurate OLED panel in the world, but you know what? Again, you're in a budget price point. It gets plenty bright. Had no problem seeing it outdoors. It's beautiful. It's poppy. You get a lot of saturation here. You get your games look great. Your content looks great. It's a type of display that you typically don't find at this price point. And I love the fact that Samsung was able to put a display like this down at around $200 because it really ups the experience. It wasn't that long ago where budget devices, sub $250, you got these depressing little LCDs that looked awful. They didn't get bright. They were dull as could be. And now you get a I'm not going to say flagship, but you get what used to be the mid-range experience at $200. Build quality. It's plastic, sure, but they've brought it in line with the more expensive S24 series. You've got the beautiful, you got the kind of understated backing here with the triple camera setup. You've got the flat edges and the flat display on the front. Yes, it's got a teardrop notch. Yes, it's got some bezels. But you know what? You don't look at that. You really don't look at that. And I understand that some of these phones, like the Poco phone or whatever else, yeah, but then you got to deal with that mess of an OS. You got to deal with the poor software support. This is getting 5 years of software support. It's getting 4 major updates of Android, so 1 UI versions, and 5 years of security updates. That is unheard of at this price range. That is what matters at $200, making sure that this phone is secure and running well and smooth years into the future. Because if you pay that money and you're at a budget price range and you're trying to save money, whatever it is, you want that. And what's great is you do get a nice, full, robust One UI 6 experience. All the aesthetic things are here. The improvements they made to the camera app are here. You got the, I know a lot of it's just cosmetic, but still, it looks nice. It feels nice. It's a nice, smooth, with that 90 hertz display, 1080p. It's a nice, smooth One UI experience, which you used to have to pay $400 or $500 to get into the ground floor of. Let's talk about that power. Dimensity 6100 plus. I like it. It drives the screen just fine. It runs your apps just fine. Will you notice it bogs down a little bit with multitasking? Yes, absolutely. Are there times when you're getting a lot of notifications and it kind of just doesn't want to get to the screen, or you'll notice a little bit of lag, or it takes a moment to kind of get through to the display? Yes, it does that sometimes. It's going to do that. It's got 4 gigs of RAM, which does limit it, but it is a budget processor, so you have to understand that. But once you clear out all the extras and you focus it on one task, whether it's gaming, Genshin Impact, lowest settings, sure, but it's smooth. Instagram, smooth. Twitter, smooth. All these things are running well. So if you focus in and just have it, rammed up in cache, you got it sitting there. You don't have to boot it up. You don't have all this stuff. The 6100 Plus is more than capable of taking care of a lot of what you're going to want to do on your smartphone. So keep that in mind. Camera. Throw up some shots, some new shots that I got. Let me tell you something. Pretty darn good. Pretty darn good. You're talking about a camera system. Now, Triple lens setup, but let's just call it the one lens. You're really going to only want to mess with the main shooter because in good lighting, the main shooter can give you images close enough to the Galaxy A54, which was 2.5 times the price of the A15. So pretty good. Does it have the ultra-wide? Sure. Does it have a macro? Sure. But they're awful and they get soft in the colors and whatever else. The colors stay okay in the ultra-wide, but the macro just gets way too soft. And like these macros that you see on these budget devices that they throw in so they can say it has a triple camera setup, but you don't want to actually use it. Same deal. But the main shooter more than makes up for it. Really, really, really good. Really good photos. Nice saturated poppy, nice bright photos. Really, really enjoy that. Plus you get the creature comforts. Headphone jack. 3.5 millimeters, so you don't have to give up your wired headset experience. Micro SD card expandable storage, which people jump up and down about that they need on these devices. So you have that here too. Battery life is excellent on the A15. You're looking at 7.5, 8 hours of screen on time thanks to that budget processor that you got in here. It's not really eating up that much battery. Plus you have a 5,000 milliamp hour cell in there and 25 watt charging. It's not fast charging by any means, but that is the Samsung. It's kind of the Samsung standard at this point as far as charging is concerned. But look, these are the things that you deal with. These are the compromises that you have to make. But for me, the processing power, the gaming capability, the battery life, the build, the software support, and the software experience, which is on a much like you're going to get on your S24 Ultra. No, it's not going to be the speed and the snappiness and the performance, but just the look and the feel. It's smooth going through the user experience. It is very nice to use, and that's not something that you typically got from Samsung or anybody else under $200. So if you're sitting there and you're deciding between a few different phones, like I said, the Moto G Play is great for the money, $150. You know, those are a lot of decisions that Moto had to make to get to that price point, and I respect what they did there. But for the 50 extra bucks, I think you come out ahead on the A15 because of the OLED display, because you get 5G, because you get the 6100 Plus, which is better with gaming than the Snapdragon 680 in the Moto G Play. Couple different things there that I think you pick up for 50 that are more than worth it. But that's the compromise that Moto make, and that's a decision you're going to have to make. Is that important to you? But let me tell you something. As far as the things that you check off, how does it run social media and regular stuff like WhatsApp? Great. What's the overall day-to-day user experience with it? Great. Great battery life. Serviceable camera. You know, you want to take pictures of your pets, your kids. You want to put them on Instagram, whatever else. This will do the job for a whole lot less than you used to have to pay. And for me, that is a phenomenal, phenomenal thing. I love it. Just like a couple years ago, 2-3 years ago, when we first started out here, when I was doing videos consistently, we were talking about how mid-rangers have really matured and gotten to the point where you could, you don't have to spend $1,200 to get some of these features. Now you don't even have to spend $500. You can get a lot of the stuff that you want and a lot of the stuff that most, 90% of smartphone users want for $200 and the software support. So it's not like a built-in where you have to replace them. Built-in obsolescence where you got 2 years or a year like you still have on some of those mid-range alternatives like the Poco phone. I like the fact that this is going to get 3 and 4 years of support. People say, well, why would you want that with budget power? Look, not everybody. There are people with J-series Galaxies still walking around. So don't tell me that people don't have these phones in their pockets, even in the budget price level, for 4 and 5 years. They do. So it's great that Samsung is offering that support at the price range that this phone comes in at. If you've made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until next time, have that Steve-licious day.